Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Presley, and in this video today, I want to give you my full review for Moon Knight by Jeff Lemire and Greg Smallwood. This is the complete collection of Jeff Lemire's Moon Knight run, spanning issues 1 through 14. What a fantastic book. Now throughout here, there are a bunch of different artists. I don't want to pronounce them incorrectly, but we have Greg Smallwood, Francesco Francavilla, James Stocco, and Wilfredo Torres. Now Greg Smallwood is the main guy on a majority of these issues. There's just a couple issues towards the middle where we have these different artists, and I'll explain what the reason for that is. But yes, this book is fantastic. So it starts off with Mark Spector, aka Moon Knight, if many of you know, or Mr. Knight in this one, waking up in an insane asylum with a complete criminal record. He has no idea how he got there, but Khonshu, which is constantly in his head, constantly guiding him to see the light and see the true answers of the world, basically shows him that the world has been overtaken and New York is not actually New York anymore. It's called New Egypt. So that is the first arc throughout here. Mark Spector is trying to escape from this asylum. His eyes have been opened and he sees what the world truly is. He sees Seth, which is another god who is creating this mayhem, and he's trying to stop it. He's trying to figure out what's going on. He's trying to escape this asylum. He brings his group of friends together, like Gina and Jean-Paul and all of them together, to try to escape from this asylum. It's a really great storyline, and Greg Smallwood does all of the art throughout here. Fantastic stuff. Jordi Belair is the colorist, and she has been everywhere. I've been reading so many of her books recently. She's just a fantastic colorist. And one other thing about Greg Smallwood's artwork through this entire book, but especially in this little arc, is his panel layouts. There's not a lot per page, so every single panel that we do see is impactful because not only is his artwork beautiful, but he uses space and negative space really well. I thought it was really well done. The next arc throughout here, this is a 4-issue arc, is the Reincarnations, the Incarnations arc, and this is where we have the different artists. Now we have Mark Spector, who's taking over one of the little stories. We have Jake Lockley and Stephen Grant. So there's 3 competing art styles here. They're all beautiful in their own right. I personally really like the Moon Knight one, the like moon wolf invasion story artwork the most. It was very manga to me, and I'll put on screen now who the artist for those books for that story was, because I don't remember exactly the difference between the artists. But yes, that was my favorite. And then I like the Jake Lockley story. My least favorite was the Stephen Grant story, but it was still good. But yes, this story involves these 3 different characters on their 3 different little journeys, and they eventually come crashing together because Mark Spector, the main Mr. Knight of this book, basically recruits them to say, hey, I need to take care of you guys. You guys need to all get in order, things like that. Fantastic. I don't want to spoil anything in terms of what happens with that, but they all come together towards the end of it, and it's a clash of art styles. There's even different art styles on the same page, and I really dug it. And the final arc throughout here, which is again drawn by Greg Smallwood, is basically kind of an origin / like a background story for Mark Spector. His mind has been broken since he was a young child, and that's when he met Stephen Grant, which is one of his imaginary friends. It's a really sad storyline because his parents don't know how to help him, and so they ship him off, and he's always been lonely, but he makes imaginary friends to not be so lonely. Really emotional stuff. He worked for this bad assassin guy, and so there's a little bit of backstory in terms of how he ended up finding the tomb of Khonshu and things like that. Again, I don't want to spoil anything because I think this story is fantastic and I really think you should read it. But yes, this origin story, this background for Mark Spector, really well done. And then this final arc also involves him trying to confront Khonshu because he realizes that Khonshu is completely taking advantage of him because his mind is so broken. And I think it's great. There's a lot of creative, beautiful panels throughout here with Mark Spector falling and losing his way inside his own brain, in his own mind. Really amazing stuff. I think this was probably my favorite arc of the 3, though they were all fantastic. And yes, it's a beautiful, amazing way to end this book. Now, overall, yes, while this wasn't the longest run, it was only 14 issues, I thought it was super impactful, and it really hit home every single thing that they were trying to do. Jeff Lemire is a very smart, intelligent writer, and I think he makes you think on a lot of certain things. He doesn't just give you every answer right away, and I really love that. It feels like a journey that we're constantly exploring with Mark Spector as we go throughout here, and overall, I loved every single minute of it. So overall, yes, I could not put down this book. I read it all in one night. It was fantastic, and I had to give it a 5 stars out of 5. It really is a page turner, and this was the next book in my Marvel reading order. So keep expecting more Marvel reviews because I have been knocking out a lot of those books. I've been really enjoying them. But yes, let me know in the comments down below if you have read Moon Knight by Jeff Lemire. If you have, what were your thoughts? What were your opinions? And most importantly, what was your rating? Again, I had to give it a 5 stars out of 5. If you haven't read it yet, especially if you're interested in Moon Knight, I think this is a perfect place to start. You don't really need to know too much because you kind of get an introduction to all these different characters, but it is fantastic, very much worth the time that it will take you to read this. It is fantastic. Definitely check it out. With that being said, thank you so very much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later.